Well, hello and welcome to yet another edition of 907 Sports, where it is all local sports all of the time. And what a special show we have for you today. We are going to do a 3A, 4A state championship basketball edition of 907 Sports. So that means nothing but interviews, highlights, and top plays from Championship Saturday. So we're going to dive right into it because it is a lot of video. And this is the perfect place to show you all of it because I have an unlimited amount of time to kind of give you everything here. So we're going to start in the 3A Girls Championship game between Grace Christian and Mount Edgecombe. Kind of a battle of two different types of schools here. Grace Christian been playing with each other for a really long time. A lot of young players there, sophomores and juniors, where Mount Edgecombe is a boarding school, so you get the girls that haven't really played with each other that much throughout their lives. And you can kind of see it kind of come to fruition here in the third and fourth quarter when Grace started to pull away a little bit. Here's a nice corner three from Ella Berger. She hit a bunch of big shots in the first half to get Grace kind of pulling away. And Grace Christian won their first ever state championship in 3A girls basketball. Sophie Lempfer, a big reason why, and this is what she had to say after the game.
Honestly, I don't think it's hit. Yeah, it felt like a normal game out there just with more fans, but this is one of the craziest experiences I think I've ever experienced, especially in basketball. It's just surreal. It doesn't feel real right now, and it's just, I think we worked so hard to get here, and it's amazing.
Talk about that, fans. How does that change the game when there's so many people?
Well, you can't even hear coach half the time, so it's you just have to talk as a team, and you have to help your teammates out. And I think it gives us more energy, especially I guess it makes the game feel more fast-paced, more, close,
What was the difference? Because it got a little close there at the end. So
it did.
What was the difference in the game for you guys?
I think we started working the ball, and I think we realized we have to play as a team, as a unit, and we started looking for each other, and we just, no matter our mistakes, we always helped each other up. We always kept helping our teammates up and stuff.
And the best part about it for Grace Christian fans, they didn't even have to leave the gym because the 3A Boys Championship, half of that was the Grace Christian boys taking on the Nome Nanooks in a rematch of last year's championship game. Here we see Grace getting ready, trying to look for a little bit of revenge. They lost to Nome last year in the championship game in the last seconds. Well, this time around, it was all Grace from the opening seconds. There you see Luke Lempfer getting the good, easy bucket to start the game off. And then it was a lot of this. Kellen Jed Licka, nothing but nylon. He was the player of the game, and for good reason. He did not miss many shots. This was the tough thing for Nome. Sloan Lempfer, 6'7". He's a big man. And when you got a big guy like that, especially in 3A basketball, it can be kind of tough to get it to go there. There's Kellen Jed Licka again. And Grace Christian gets a little bit of revenge, and they get to taste that sweet, sweet championship feeling.
It's pretty special, and basketball is temporary, 4 years for high school anyways, and be able to do it with the group of guys we had this year. Our deal was this year was unbreakable, which is written on our chest, and kind of regardless of the outcome, we surrender the outcome. So it's basketball, but ultimately it's a brotherhood that we built. So winning is super special, but I wouldn't have rather done it with anyone else other than those group of guys right there.
Does it add anything that you guys they beat you last year, and then you kind of get them back?
Not really. Last year's team we weren't defined by. We kind of cut that off. Last year happened. This year we came with a vengeance. We just brotherhood and just strive to be better every year.
That was Sloan Lempfer talking right there. He is Sophie Lempfer's cousin, and Luke Lempfer is Sophie's brother. So the Lempfers really having a good weekend there with 3 new state champions, and we might just be hearing from them a little bit more in our Athlete of the Week segment here in a couple of days. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I have an inside track on that. I'm not sure. But let's go up a division to the 4A girls. ACS on an over 100 game winning streak, and they're looking to keep that going, and they're going up against Wasilla Warriors, who they played in last year's championship game, and it was all Savia all the time. She had 32 points. Savia Sellers committed to the University of Washington earlier this season, and she showed us why in the championship game. Like I said, 32 points. Every time Wasilla would get a little into the game, Savia would say, no way, just like on that tough and one bucket right there. So it's going to be really exciting to see what Savia does at the next level, and exciting to see what ACS does once she leaves, because they've won a lot of games with her there, but they also won a few championships right before she got there. So we'll have to see how their program continues to go and see if that streak can stay alive. I think they've won 7 straight state championships if you count the COVID year, so that is wildly impressive. And speaking of wildly impressive, let's go to the 4A championship game on the boys' side. We have East Anchorage, the 3rd-seeded team coming into this, making it all the way to the championship, going up against West Valley, the number 1 seed and the favorite. But you wouldn't be able to tell that if you watched the game. East Anchorage, the Thunderbirds coming out like lightning and taking a big lead. They went on a 20-5 run in the second quarter, capped off by that bucket right there from Victor Meza at the end of the second quarter, and it was all East the rest of the game. West Valley would make a run towards the end, but East Anchorage are the 4A boys champions in a year that I don't think really anybody thought that they were going to be on top at the end.
I don't even know what to think. Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy, man. I didn't expect this. Wow. Defense. Every day in practice, we work on defense. So I think that's what led us to the state championship.
Been a part of a lot of, there's a lot of great East Anchorage teams of the years past. Was able to be a part of that legacy now with East Anchorage.
Man, I appreciate the guys last year. They pushed me. They told me to come get this last year. I know we lost off a buzzer beater, but this year we got it.
And what did it take? What can you say about the guys that stepped up today and took care of business? What did it take?
Man, it took everybody, the whole team. The bench, starting with the bench, telling us keep pushing through it. Starting 5, just working hard. We all wanted this. We got it.
Head coach Chuck Martin coaching his butt off in that game, and you could really see it on the court with the results at the end, because they had a really good mix of senior leadership, but also some really good young talent there. Mohammed Sabali, the guy we just heard from, is only a sophomore, and he had over 20 points. So it's pretty impressive to see him grow throughout the year, and he's got a couple of more years to show off what he is made of. But now it is time for the moment we have all been waiting for. It's time for the top 5 plays from Championship Saturday. I was going to do the whole tournament, but that's a lot of video to go back through, and there was some really good plays from just the other day. So let's jump right in. For number 5, we're going to go back to that 3A Boys Championship game, and Finn Gregg is going to show us a little finesse here with the left hand, gets the roll to go and hits the ground pretty hard. And that makes it what makes it even more impressive is that's Sloan Lemfer, like I said earlier, about 6'7". So that's not if he's going up against some shrimp. That is a big man. That was a tough layup getting that one to go. For number 4, we are going to go to the 3A Girls Championship game, where Sophie Lentfer shuts the door on that one right there. The big block to sort of set the tone in the first quarter. That got Grace out and running on both sides of the ball as they won their first state championship in program history. For number 3, how about we see a 3-point play from the Gatorade Player of the Year, Savia Sellers. Gets the 3-point bucket to go, and that was the nail in the coffin. That put Wasilla to bed, and Savia and the Anchorage Christian School Lions would win state yet again, and we'll have to see how they can keep on running as Savia leaves next year. For number 2, this one is personally one of my favorite plays here because I just really wasn't expecting it. Number 22, Tessa Anderson with the Euro, and then she throws it up and it goes nothing but net. That was some fancy footwork right there. What a play. That was pretty awesome. Mount Edgecombe having one heck of a season, and I bet we're going to be seeing them come back to this game next season. For number 1, it was really the momentum switch that East needed. Like I said, a 20-5 run capped off by that Victor Meza. Really tough layup right there. That is why you always follow your friends' shots, especially at the end of a quarter like that, because the momentum when you go back in the locker room can switch everything, and that's exactly what that did as East went on to win the state championship game. So a wild weekend of basketball. I'm really sad that it's all over. Basketball is my favorite sport, but there's a lot of other sports that are just about to kick up. We got baseball coming up, we got soccer, and we already have indoor track and field that's already started. We're just waiting for some of that snow to get off of the outdoor tracks before we can have those outdoor track meets. And we have a lot of good stuff coming up this rest of this week. And we'll be back here on Sunday with more 907 Sports, more top plays, more highlights, more interviews. But until then, I hope you enjoy whatever little slice of 907 heaven you're hanging out on tonight.